with a sunshiny smile, heard the roar of a plane as it sailed through the sky. To her playmate she cried with a bright twinkling eye, my daddy rides that ship in the sky. Oh, my daddy rides that ship in the sky. My daddy rides that ship in the sky. Mama's not afraid and neither am I, 'cause my daddy rides that ship in the sky. Then a pug-nosed kid, as he kicked up his heel, says, my daddy works in the iron and the steel. Yes, my daddy makes planes so they fly through the sky, and that's what keeps your daddy up there so high. Oh, that's what keeps your daddy up there so high. That's what keeps your daddy up there so high. If you're not afraid, then neither am I, 'cause my daddy keeps your daddy up in the sky.
What is a folk tale? Let's see who knows what it is.
It is something like not real, but it could happen.
Yeah, stop right there, okay?
It's a story that's been passed down from generation to generation.
There you go, okay. The idea with a folk tale is how it's come along. There's all kinds of different folk tales, but the basic idea is it's been passed along from generation to generation. And the reason that there are all these folk tales around is that if you go back 100 or 150 years ago, all the things that we use, all the devices like TVs and movie theaters and smartphones and computers, all that stuff, record players and radios, none of that was here. If you wanted to hear a story, somebody had to tell you that story right there where you were sitting. And so that's what people would do in the evening, was they would tend to sit around and sing old songs and tell old stories. And they had learned them from when they were kids. And they grew up and they told them to their kids. Okay? And over time, they will tend to change, and you can find different versions of them in different places. Who knows what this is called? That's right, this is a banjo.
I've never heard what
And instruments change just like songs do. And the banjo has changed a lot. The banjo came to this country from Africa. When black people came to this country, they brought a little banjo with them. There are still, in Africa, there's about 60 different instruments that resemble the banjo, that have a round head with a skin over it usually, and a neck with some strings on it. But now the banjo is used a lot by all kinds of people who like to play mountain music and bluegrass. Now here's an old mountain song, and it's real easy to sing. I wish I was a mole in the ground. Oh, I wish I was a mole in the ground. If I was a mole in the ground, I'd root that mountain down. And I wish I was a mole in the ground. Can you try that, Nick? I wish I was a mole in the ground. Sing it again. Oh, I wish I was a mole in the ground. Oh, you sing great. If I was a mole in the ground, I'd root that mountain down. And I wish I was a mole in the ground. Well, I wish I was a lizard in the spring. Oh, I wish I was a lizard in the spring. If I was a lizard in the spring, Ready? Mole in the ground. Let me sing it. I wish I was a mole in the ground. Oh, I wish I was a mole in the ground. If I was a mole, I was a mole in the ground. I'd root that mountain down, and I wish I was a mole. About these old songs is a lot of them were made up by just ordinary people like you and me and your teachers and your mommy and poppy and your grandma and grandpa. So I thought it's always fun to see if we can make up a verse to this song. All you need is an animal and the place that that animal is. Maybe what it does. Who's got an idea for an animal? Okay? Ooh. How about if I was a lion? I wish I was a lion in the den. If I was a lion in the den, what would I do? What would I do if I was a lion in the den?
Hunt for food. I'll bring the zebra in.
I what?
I bring a zebra in.
Bring a zebra in. Well, the lion's got to eat, and that rhymes. He's got a good sense of rhyme. Let's do that one. I say go with that one. I wish I was a lion in the den. Oh, I wish I was a lion in the den. If I was a lion in the den, I'd bring a zebra in. And I wish I was a lion in the den. Let's try one more. Anybody? Now, there's different kinds of folk tales, and I'm going to give you some samples of them. We sometimes call them genres or subgenres, and one is the tall tale. Now, a tall tale is partly true. It starts with a real situation that would actually happen. And very often, usually in fact, the teller kind of acts as if he didn't know that he was stretching the truth. He kind of acts like he's telling you the truth, but he's really exaggerating. And he's telling it just for the fun of it. He doesn't believe it. He's just telling it for the fun of it. You know, one of the things we like to do in reading now in school is get kids to read nonfiction, which is an information book, and fiction, which is a story made up on the same topic. It's fun to do that about animals because animals sometimes have stories that have been made up about them a long time ago. And I'm going to tell you a story about a possum. Now, who can tell me something that a possum does that helps it survive from its predators? It plays dead, that's right. And the reason it does that is that when a predator comes to eat it, if it thinks it's already dead, it thinks, oh, that's not fresh meat, that's not very good, it's been laying around for a while. But if it kills it itself, it knows, oh, that's fresh meat, that's going to taste good. So the possum plays dead. Well, in this story, which is a tall tale, the possum who's playing dead, the story's going to exaggerate what he does when he plays dead, okay? So here's the story. It's very quick. I was out in the swamp, and I was trapped all the day. I come back into the camp, and I say to my wife, what you have fixed to eat? I am very hungry. She say, not much, vieux, not much. I pick up a few shrimp and a crab, and with them I make a gumbo. A gumbo is a soup. Ah, chérie, I say, a gumbo is very little for a man fatigued like me, a man tired like me. Why you not kill a chicken? She said, we only have one chicken left. It would be a mortal sin kill a beast like that. Well, just then I hear a caw out in the backyard. I throw open the door, I go out in the backyard, and there is a rat de bois, have our last hen by the neck. I pick up a stick, I give him a grand coup de bâton. I put his feet in the air. I say to my wife, look, the bon Dieu is bon, the good Lord is good to us. Now we're going to have meat to eat. So I take the hide over to Zebby. He the fur trader in the next camp. He going to take that hide and he going to sell it. He take that hide and he give me a bottle of wine for trade. I take that bottle of wine back and everything has come good. My wife, she fix up some bread. She fix up a stew. And a little while later, I open the oven to see how everything is going. Now, maybe you not believe this, but I open that oven, and there is the rat de bois. He's standing up in the pan. He had eat the potatoes. He had drink the grease. He come running out the door. He run between my wife's legs, knock over the bread, knock over the wine. He go running out through the door. He grab that hand, and he go running off. And that's not all. That night, he go back into Zebby's camp. He take the hide off of the wall, and he put it back on. Now that's something, huh? So you're all a little confused by that, fifth graders? Did you understand what happened? It exaggerated. He played dead so well, he stayed alive in that oven at 450 degrees. And while he was there, he ate up the stew, and then he came back on, and that's not all. He came back out, and he went back to Zebby, who had his hide, and he took that hide off of the stretching board, he put it back on, and he ran off. Now, could a possum really do that? No, it's an exaggeration. But it's based on something true, which is that a possum plays dead. It's a quilt that you can put on a bed, but it's made of different patches. A patch is a piece of cloth, okay? Now, we all know about recycling, maybe, how you use things in new ways, okay? Well, in the old days, when you got these big old holes in your blue jeans, like he's got, and your mama said, no more wearing those blue jeans. She didn't just throw those blue jeans out. She took the blue jeans and she cut out squares and shapes out of the good part of the blue jeans. And she saved them in a pile. And then when your daddy wore out the shirt at the elbow, she didn't throw it out. She cut out the good pieces and she saved them. And she did that with all the leftovers for the clothes. And then when she got a nice big pile, she'd say, it's time to make a patchwork quilt. And she'd sew those patches together and she'd make something new out of those old things. And that's kind of what these folk songs and folk tales are. Because people would keep taking these old pieces of songs and they just think of it one day when they were singing another song. They'd say, I think I'll put that verse in here. I think I'll move it around a little bit and make something new. So this song is called On My Grandma's Patchwork Quilt. Now, I made up some motions to it. I'll sing it for you first and then I'll teach you the motions. On my grandma's patchwork quilt, squares of corduroy and silk, red and green and blue and yellow too, on my grandma's patchwork quilt. Okay, now here are the motions. I want you to put on a pair of glasses for your grandma, because you know our eyes get old. On my grandma's, and probably the first place you need a patch is right here, because you're sitting on it all the time. So for patch, I want you to kind of hit your bottom. Patchwork, and for quilt, I want you to pretend you've got a needle in your sock. Patchwork quilt, good. On my grandma's patchwork quilt, show me squares of corduroy and silk, red and green and blue and yellow too. On my grandma's patchwork quilt, just a patchwork quilt so fine, it was an art of her design. A piece of sister's dress next to grandpa's vest, on my grandma's patchwork quilt. On my grandma's patchwork quilt, let me see it, squares of corduroy and silk, red and green and blue and yellow too, on my grandma's patchwork quilt. Because, oh, this is a real old-timey instrument from the mountains. It's not as well known as the banjo or guitar, but it's a real good instrument. Now, you can kind of see how people went to making up songs sometimes from this song. This song is called Waterbound and I Can't Get Home. You see, if you live way back in the mountains where there are deep valleys and it rains, that rain collects pretty soon in those valleys. It fills them up. That happened to me once when I was out in the mountains. I was singing with some kids back in a little community center way back in the mountains, and it rained and poured. And when I went to drive out of there, I got to that valley, and the water was about this deep. I couldn't get through it. I was waterbound. I couldn't get through the water. Now, I was lucky that somebody showed me a little back road up over the mountain I could get out. But if not, I'd have to just stay there overnight with one of my friends. And that's what's happening in this song. Now, the chorus goes like this. Waterbound and I can't get home. Waterbound and I can't get home. Waterbound, I can't get home down in North Carolina. Can you sing that with me?
Yeah.
Waterbound and I can't get home. Waterbound and I can't get home. Waterbound and I can't get home down in North Carolina. Chickens crowing in the old plow field. Chickens are crowing in the old plow field. Chickens are crowing in the old plow field down in North Carolina. Waterbound and I can't get home. Waterbound and I can't get home. Waterbound, I can't get home down in North Carolina. Me and Sam and Dave going home. Me and Sam and Dave going home. Me and Sam and Dave going home for the water rises. Waterbound and I can't get home. Hey, waterbound and I can't get home. Waterbound, I can't get home down in North Carolina. It's always good to have rhythm, like the drums behind. You're used to hearing drums behind music. Well, in the old days, people sometimes would use some spoons to play the rhythm. You can try this when you go home, and on the internet, on YouTube, you'll have little lessons of how to play the spoons. I won't teach you in too much detail,
I know how.
but what you do is you've got to get those spoons back to back like that. And you got to have a little space in between them. And what happens is if you grab them with your fingers like this and wrap them around, but put one or two fingers in between to leave a space, when you tap a spoon, it clinks against the other. So you tap it on your leg to give it a steady beat, and then you hit your hand. And you do a little off rhythm, okay? So I'll play you a little bit. That's something else you can do. You've got to get your fingers really tight and wide, and then you can run them down the stairs like that. Down in the woods by a fork in the road, I met Mr. Bullfrog and Miss Toad, and every time Mr. Toad would sing, Mr. Bullfrog cut every pigeon wing. Turkey in the straw, turkey in hay. Bullfrog danced with mother-in-law and whistled up a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Turkey in the sky, turkey in the sea. Bullfrog danced with mother-in-law and whistled up a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Well, I come to the river and I couldn't get across, so I paid $10 for a big bay horse. It wouldn't go ahead and it wouldn't go back, but it went up and down like a steeplejack. Turkey in the sky, turkey in the sea. Bullfrog danced with mother-in-law and whistled up a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Turkey in the snow, turkey in the stew. Bullfrog danced with mother-in-law and whistled up a tune called Turkey in the Straw. Fables teach you a lesson. I was trying to decide which one will I tell you, and really my favorite is one that has a mouse in it. Does anybody know which one I'm thinking of?
Lion and the Mouse?
The Lion and the Mouse. Maybe you can help me tell this. And he came out the other side. He looked around. He thought he was in a safe place, but then the ground started to rise up underneath him. He looked down. It wasn't the ground. It was a lion. He was standing on the lion. And what did the lion do? Who knows?
Try to eat it.
He was going to eat him. He grabbed him by the tail, and he was about to put him in his mouth, and the mouse said, "Wait, wait." What did he say?
Wait.
"Don't eat me, don't eat me," he said. I've got a family. If you let me go, I'll go home to my family and I'll be able to feed them. And someday, I'll help you. Ha! You help me? You gotta be kidding. I'm a lion. I'm the king of the jungle. How's a little mouse like you gonna help me? You'll see. I'll do it. I'll do it. All right, said the lion. Okay, I'll let you go free. So he let that mouse free, and he ran on home to his children, and he brought him food, and he continued his life. But a few days later, some men came along through the jungle. Who knows who those men were, what they were doing? They trapped the lion. They had a big cord trap, and when the lion stepped on part of it, it fell down on top of the lion, and there he was trapped. And the lion roared, "Rah!" Well, another thing that's great about books is you get to hear stories from different points of view, the way different people see it. And I like this song. It's called The Fox Went Out on a Chilly Night. It's an old song. It comes from over in England, and it's come over to this country. And there's even a picture book that uses the words. And it's about a fox going out to hunt. Now, if you ask a farmer, he doesn't much care for foxes because they're stealing his chickens. But if you ask the fox, he'd say, I got a family to feed. So this is told from his point of view. Well, the fox went out on a chilly night. He prayed to the moon to give him light. He had many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. Oh, town, oh, town, oh. Many a mile to go that night before he reached the town. Oh. Now, when I sing that little repeat, it's different each time, but it repeats the last part after the O. You're certainly welcome to join in with me. Well, the rabbit didn't come to a cozy den. The ducks and the geese were kept therein. It says, a couple of you gonna grease my chin before I leave this town. Oh, town, oh, town, oh. A couple of you gonna grease my chimney before I leave this town. Oh, he grabbed that gray goose by the neck and threw that duck across his back. He didn't mind, made a quack, 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 and the legs all dangling down. Oh, down, oh, down, oh. He didn't mind, let quack, 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 and the legs all dangling down. Oh, now old Mother Flip-Flop jumped out of bed, and after that window she popped her head. She cried, John, John, the gray goose is gone, and the fox is on the town. Oh, town, oh, town, oh, John, John, the gray goose is gone, and the fox is on the town. Oh. The myths that are best known are the Greek myths, but many other people have had myths, and I'd like to tell you one that comes from the Tlingit tribe, who are Native Americans up along the west coast of Alaska. They're the people who built beautiful, lived in the darkness, the animals lived in the darkness, and Raven felt sorry for the people. He said, I will bring them light. And so Raven, he flew over the mountains, and he flew to where that light was, and he perched up on a tree. And he looked down, and he could see that the light was coming from a log house. It was the house of the Sky Chief. And as he watched, a beautiful girl, maybe a teenager, something like that, came out of the log house and went down to the water. And she dipped up some water in a bowl, and she drank it. And as Raven watched her, he had an idea of how he could get light. Raven changed himself into a pine needle, and the pine needle fluttered down and landed in that bowl of water. Well, the next drink that she took of that water, down went Raven into the girl. 9 months passed, and the girl had a baby. And the baby had sharp black eyes, a big nose, he looked a little bit like Raven. It was Raven Child, reborn as a human child. Oh, the girl loved him, and her father, the Sky Chief, loved him. He would always come over and play with Raven. He would make him toys, and the elders would come over and watch him too. And one day, Raven was playing out there on the floor, and he saw a big box in the corner, and it seemed like light was coming out of the box. And he looked at the box, and he pointed, he went, "Gong, gong, gong, gong." And the girl said, "What does he want?" Her father said, "He wants the box. Bring it to him." And imagine a long time ago, and you were an immigrant who came to this country from another place, like many, many people did, and you had a farm, and a lot of things went wrong, but you did the best you could, and you felt like the land was sweet and good, and you did what you could. When I first came to this land, I was not a wealthy man, so I got myself a son, and I did what I could, or a daughter, and I called my son, my work's done. I called my wife, what the love of my life. I called my duck, and I called my cow, and I called my shack, and I called my farm, the muscle in my arm. But the land was sweet and good, and I did what I could.
That's all.
I say your name. Promise to amplify my mind. Open up my heart. Make every day seem new. Tickle my funny bones. Zap my scary zone. Read all the summer through. Yeah, boy. Okay, there you go. Now, let's try that chorus with me. I'm gonna amplify my mind. I'm gonna open up my heart. I'm gonna make every day seem new. Gonna tickle my funny bone. Gonna tickle my funny bone. I'm gonna zap my scary zone. I'm gonna read all the summer through. And you can make up your own verses to this. A lot of these are verses that the kids at our school made up. I'm gonna read my way around the world at the public library, at the public library, at the public library. I'm gonna read my way around the world at the public library and read all the summer through. Help me sing that chorus. I'm gonna amplify my mind. I'm gonna open up my heart. I'm gonna make every day seem new. I'm gonna tickle my funny bone. I'm gonna zap my scary zone. I'm gonna read all the summer through. Amplify means to make something bigger. I'm kind of wishing I had an amplifier for my voice right now. But as you read, your mind's going to get bigger. You're not going to have open heart surgery, but you may feel sad or happy when you read something sad or happy in a book. Okay? And every day is going to seem new because you'll have a different book that you can read. I'm going to put on a cape and fly to France with Captain Underpants, with Captain Underpants. With Captain Underpants, I'm gonna put on my cape and fly to France. With Captain Underpants, I'm gonna read all summer
through. Help me sing that. I'm gonna amplify my mind. I'm gonna open up my heart. I'm gonna make every day seem new. I'm gonna tickle my funny bone. I'm gonna zap my scary zone.